welcome back to Sham's Makeup Artistry. Today I would like to share with you my March favorites. Yes, I have picked out a couple of stuff to try out for the month of March. Some of them are pretty new to me and some of them are oldie but goodies. So without further ado, let's just get started. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Let's first begin with the nail polish that I'm wearing on my nails today, and it's by KL Polish, and this is from their spring edition. I will be sharing the entire set with you on a separate video, but today I'd like to share the one that I'm wearing on my nail. I am an ardent fan of KL polishes, and these shades from their spring collections was so beautiful. This one right here looks very much peach in person, but the only thing that I had to work so hard was the intensity that I wanted to get for my nails, because sometimes I do have like a little bit darker nails, being a deeper skin tone girl, so I had to work like 3 or 4 layers with this particular shade. Other than having to work 3 coats to 4 coats on this particular nail polishes, I pretty much love all the shades that I've picked up. Again, I'll be sharing them on a separate video with you. Today, let's begin with the foundations that I've been enjoying. The very first foundation that I'd like to share with you is from Physician Formula, and this is their Healthy Foundation Brightening Complex for all skin type. I'm in the shade DN3. This foundation wears so beautifully on my skin. It wears just like my Dior Forever foundation. It reminds me of my Dior Forever foundation. They kind of look very similar. And in the Dior foundation, I am in the shade 045. This foundation, I kind of feel that it wears so easily on the skin. It was pretty difficult for me to find a match online, so I waited until it was at my local Walmart. That's when I picked up mine. It doesn't come with a pump, it does come with like a brush applicator. The only thing that I noticed with this foundation that is this does oxidize on my skin. When I'm out in the sun, I pretty much felt that it oxidized tad little bit on my skin. Otherwise, this foundation wears so beautifully on the skin. So I've been enjoying the Physician Formula foundation. All I wish for is the shade range should be a little bit more wider. And of course, I've not been able to put down my Dior Forever foundation. I believe that I will definitely need to pick up a new one very soon. The other foundation that I've been going back and forth for the month of March has to be my Makeup Forever. This is their Ultra HD Stick Foundation. This is one of my very favorite foundation next to my Dior Forever foundation. And I'm in the shade Y445. The reason I pick out this foundation now and then is because it's so easily workable on the skin. You just have to apply like 4 streaks over your face area and then blend it with a brush or a beauty blender, whichever you prefer, and you are good to go. And the foundation gives you such a beautiful, flawless looking skin. My skin is pretty much like a combination skin. I do have like a T-zone oiliness and I do have dryness over the other areas of my face, so this foundation does work well for my skin type. And for oily skin girls, I would personally recommend this foundation during the colder months more than summer, because it might look much more oilier on you on heat weather than the colder weather. Moving on to primers, I do have 2 primers to share with you for the month of March. The very first one is from Kevyn Aucoin, and this is their new Elixir Weightless Beauty Oil. Again, being a combination to dry skin girl, I definitely want something to hydrate my skin, because when I apply foundation, if my skin is dry, it emphasizes it even more. And this oil has been a lifesaver. It comes in a tube like this. This is how you get the oil out. And then I just apply like 1 pump of the oil and then I blend it on my face. I prefer to dab it over my face area. I less focus on my T-zone area, I focus it more on my cheek area, and I've been really loving this. And the scent of this oil is so amazing. It feels really good on the skin. So this is something that you may want to check out if you tend to have dryness on your face area. This gives you a hydration and it also adds the glow to your face area, and your foundation does glide on really well. The other primer, which is pretty much new to me, and I've been really wanting to try out this primer. The reason being is it was hyped throughout social media and all the best YouTubers out here was using this primer, so of course I wanted to try it out. And it's none other than the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This is more of like an heftier price kind of face primer, and I actually got a discount because I do have like a Bobbi Brown Pro discount. So it's not something that I will consider to pick up for a $60 face primer. I definitely can get other good primers out there which are much more at a very reasonable price. But then this is a good one to have. If you can afford it, you can definitely try it out. This does have like a very nice scent to it. It has like a lemony scent to it. And I've worn this on my face area even without makeup on the days that I just want my face to feel hydrated. This face base does give you a hydration over your face area, and you do not need to wear makeup. Thereafter, you can just wear it on its own and feel the hydration on your face area. That's what I tend to personally do. On the days that I do not put on makeup but I just want my face to look just neat and done, I tend to use this face base. And yet again, this is a good face base that I would personally recommend if you are looking out for a good face base. A little goes a long way. Again, when it comes to heftier price tag, a little goes a long way, kind of like makes sense to you to get them. And definitely use a spoolie with this face base because you do not want to keep on dipping your finger and getting all the bacteria into the product, if that does make sense. Now let's move on to eyeshadows. I've been going back and forth with this two palette. The very first one is an oldie but a goodie, and this is the Urban Decay Naked palette. This is the original Naked palette that most of us have forgotten about it. For those of you who have tons of makeup, you probably have forgotten about this palette. I did, but I decided to take this out, and I've been using it like crazy throughout the month of March. And I've been going for very neutral eye shades. Like, this is the look that I've been wearing throughout the month. I've been really enjoying like a kind of like smokiness to my eyes, and then a very neutral lip, and then a very glowy looking skin. So this palette has been such a versatile palette for me. It wears so beautifully on every other skin tone, and every shade here is so workable. I do not need to like look out for another palette for highlight shade, and one more palette for blending shade, and one more palette for my lid. It's all in all there. This personally I would recommend for someone who's looking out for something from Urban Decay and you haven't tried out any of the Naked palette. This has to be my best pick. Moving on to the next palette is from MAC, and this is their Mischief Mink MAC eyeshadow palette. This one is another favorite of mine. I do not know how to express the beautiness of this palette, but it does wear so beautifully on the eye area, and it's so easily blendable. So I actually filmed this look using this palette, so it should be up before or after this particular favorites, so you get a better look of this palette and how it wears on my skin. And I've been again, I just love this palette. This colors right here is so workable. Even on my skin tone, I do have like a deeper skin tone, and it's so workable. They are very well pigmented, and this is something that I reach on for most of the time. Among the shades that are in this particular palette, the highlight shade right here is something that I don't really reach for it, but it's a pretty beautiful shade. And let me see if I can give you a swatch of it. I think on my skin tone it doesn't really pull up, but it's still wearable. Like right here you can see the shine. It's still wearable on my skin tone, but it's not like my favorite one out of all the other shades that are in this particular palette. So make sure to check them out. I believe they are back in stock. I will link down all the details on the description bar below for you. I do have another eyeshadow, which is a single eyeshadow that I like using it on my lid area, and it's by Nars, and this is their dual intensity eyeshadow in the shade Himalaya, and this is how it looks like. This adds the brightness to your eye area. To the total look, it adds such a nice beautiful brightness, and this has been my go-to one for the center of my lid, and I've been really enjoying the shade Himalaya. So if you want to check out something from Nars and from their dual intensity eyeshadow, definitely check out the shade Himalaya. And now let's move on to blushes. I do have two. One is a blush palette, and the other one is more of like an individual blush, and this is by the brand Illamasqua. I do not see this brand anywhere in the US. I do not know whether in Europe they still carry this brand, but in the US it's so difficult to find them. But these blushes are so beautiful. Sephora used to carry this brand and they no longer do, which is so sad. But this is such a beautiful blush. I have gotten so many compliments wearing this blush on my face area, and they are crazily pigmented. When you take a look at it, it kind of scares you, but when you blend it on your skin, it is so beautiful. And this is how it looks like. It wears much more peach on my cheek area, and I love blushes that looks very much like Nars' Orgasm blush, because Nars' Orgasm blush doesn't really work on my skin tone. So when there are blushes out there which works very similar like Nars' Orgasm blush, I get very excited. So this is one of them, and this is in the shade Hussy. I think I did not mention it. So this is in the shade Hussy. So if you do get a chance to check on Illamasqua blushes, definitely check out the shade Hussy. The other blushes that I've been enjoying is all the blushes from MAC, which are right here. This one is in the shade Melba, and this one is in the shade Spring Sheen, which I'm actually wearing on my cheek area today. And I've been really enjoying these two blushes. I combined them together because Melba is much more like a matte blush, but Spring Sheen does have some shine to it, so it adds the luminosity to the skin. So these are the blushes that I've been leaning towards for the month of March, and I'll definitely list down all the shade that is in this particular palette. I'm not able to pick them out right now because I'm worried that I will destroy them. Now let's move on to a face powder that I've been using throughout the month of March, and it's by Laura Mercier, and this is their Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder. Favorite powder of mine. I've been really liking this powder, especially for my cheek area. Especially on my cheek area, like I mentioned, there are some dryness, so I want my skin to glow. I love using this powder. I actually switched this shade. Earlier I picked out the shade 4, which kind of like looks a little bit darker on my skin, so I decided to switch it for the number 3, and it goes on really well with my skin. And this is how the powder looks like. You can see the powder itself has like a very nice sheen to it, and on the skin it gives you such a flawless looking skin. Trust me, you have to check this out if you want something like glowy. Like I definitely love that because I'm into glowiness, so I love this powder. So if you are someone who likes all the glowiness of your face and you want something that can give you the flawlessness that you need, definitely check out the Laura Mercier. This is their Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder. I do have 2 concealers that I have to share with you. The very first one is the Maybelline Age Rewind, and this is their Eraser Dark Circle Treatment Concealer, and this is in the shade Caramel. I am so glad finally I was able to find a deeper shade that I wanted to try out for the longest time, and I actually got mine at Walmart, and I am in love with the shade. This kind of like corrects the dark circles on my eye area. I've been using the shade Honey for highlight, and I love this concealers. These are something so affordable, and they wear so beautifully on the skin, and they do not dry my under eye area because I do have very dry under eye area, and this helps to give the hydration to my under eye area, and they wear so well on the under eye area. And the other concealer that I've been enjoying throughout the month of March has to be from Laura Mercier, and this is their Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Concealer, and I picked out the shade 4N, and I got a lighter shade because I want to use it as an highlight shade, and I've been really loving this concealer. I do have over my face area, on the areas that I've highlighted my face. This concealer blends in so well, and it doesn't emphasize the dryness that I have underneath my eye area. Some concealers are so difficult to blend in, especially when you have dryness on your eye area, and I do not like it. But this concealer, everyone was raving about it, and I decided to get this shade. I definitely want to try out other shades from this particular concealer to see if I can get a corrector shade, and I would personally recommend this concealer. It's equally priced to the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, so you may want to check this out. Lastly, let's move on to lip products. I do have 3 lip products to share with you. Let me share with you the very first one that I'm wearing on my lips, and it's by Smashbox. And I'm of course wearing my lip liner from Sephora in the shade Mesquite. Most of the time with all my nude lips, if you haven't heard yet from me, this is the only lip liner that I wear with most of my nude lips, and it's by Sephora in the shade Mesquite. And if you've already heard from me, just ignore me. And the shade that I'm wearing right now and I've been using throughout the month of March has to be the shade Stepping Out. This is their always on liquid lipstick. They tend to wear so beautifully on the lips, and something about it makes me feel that it's such a beautiful shade on my lips, and I've been really digging into this particular shade. And most of the liquid lipstick from Smashbox do wear very well on the lips. They are not drying like some of the liquid lipstick that are out there. This has to be one of my very best brand for liquid lipsticks. The next one that I've been enjoying is a lipstick by Fenty Beauty. This is their Mademoiselle lipstick in the shade Spanked. I definitely love these lipsticks, but the only thing I find is these lipsticks are not a long wearing. They kind of like go all over your lips, and that's kind of a disappointment. But this shade is such a beautiful shade that I can't avoid wearing on my lips, so I just had to mention it because the shade is so beautiful. But the messiness sometimes is just that you just have to keep watching yourself if you love the shade. Lastly, it's a matte velvet lip by Nars in the shade Endangered Red. This shade is something that I love to wear on my lips when I am not wearing much of an eye makeup, and I totally love their velvet matte lips because they wear so nicely on the lip area, and it's easily wearable because it's a pencil form, and this is how Endangered Red looks like. So this is something that I love wearing on everyday basis when I do not have much eye makeup going on, or I just like smudging my eyeshadows and then I put on this particular shade and I'm good to go. Even for the months to come, even for spring or summer, I will just totally wear this shade. So those were my favorites for the month of March. I do hope that you enjoyed my favorites for the month of March. To my very next one, stay beautiful both inside and out. Give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe. Goodbye.